Well, we made it to Friday, the 14th day of October, 2022. Your day with the podcast brought to you by Cowboy State Daily. Check out their Facebook page or go to cowboystatedaily.com. Looking ahead into the upcoming weekend, you know, folks, we've had a lot of nice weekends this fall, and I think for the most part, we're going to have another one. Despite the fact we've got a sneaky little cold front coming in this weekend, it's really not much of a front. Then we've got a long stretch of good weather coming as we get into basically Sunday through next Friday. There's nothing happening. Now, we've had some wind, especially for western Nebraska, eastern Wyoming, the western Dakotas, and eastern Montana and far northeast Colorado. It is going to be breezy because of that strong trough in the Midwest, causing those jet stream winds to be strong, but the winds aren't going to be as strong today. Then we've got this sneaky cold front coming in out of the Dakotas, going to the southwest and pushing up the divide, mainly affecting Montana, Wyoming, the Dakotas, western Nebraska with some cooler temperatures, few light showers, but really nothing. And most of it's going to stay east of the divide. Then from Sunday through Friday, it's just high pressure dominating, nice October weather. We still have those changes we've been talking about. Right now, I think the changes look to be around next weekend. But the details, the intensity, the timing of the change has got to be figured out. Still kind of murky, kind of muddy in terms of what we see in the long-range trends, but we certainly see some type of change by next weekend. Comparing drought conditions to a year ago, I think I'm going to show you something that some of you will be surprised to see in some parts of the U.S., not surprised in others. Now, we've got some great photos coming in. Bob Jensen and Cheyenne showing this beautiful shot here along the railing there, the leaves changing. This is Tex. Tex is a good boy, I can tell you from personal experience. And Tex is also is a service dog. So a nice pose, Tex. Then beautiful shots coming in throughout the region. Nice shot out of Big Piney. And another shot out of Big Piney is kind of what you see this time of year. Yep, a little commingling, the elk with the cattle, along with the full colors in display there. Lots of scenes like this coming up across the west this weekend. Along the North Platte River near Henry, that's right near the Wyoming-Nebraska border. Another nice shot in the Wheatland area, Laramie Peak there in the background. And then we've got another great shot. I guess the theme today is shots of colors along bodies of water. Hot Springs, South Dakota, beautiful shot there. Now I'm going to show you some shots out of the northern Bighorn Mountains. David Beard sending these photos. All you can say is, wow. When you look at that blue sky and you look at the colors, and as we take a look at the northern Bighorns, a lot of great color up there this year. Then we have this photo from Tom. Don't know what to tell you, but he sent it. It's not exactly a fall color, but it's a victim of the monsoon winds that hit Arizona, which they've had a lot of this fall season and summer season. And we'll talk about the monsoon here in a little bit. So a sideways cactus. Don't forget to send those photos to podcast@dayweather.com. Satellite photo shows the big swirl up here in south central areas of Canada, causing the wind, and you can see the streaks. You see these streaks? These are the strong winds, clouds that form along those strong winds aloft, those high cirrus clouds. So the counterclockwise spin still bringing those strong winds aloft to those areas. But the rest of the west, zip, zero, nada going on weather-wise. So you can see the upper level low just parked there over Wisconsin, stretching back up to parts of Hudson Bay. And that low is just not going to move very much as we've got that log jam. As we see that backdoor cold front come in along and east of the divide here, you see the patches of gray. These gray areas, this may mean some stratus clouds or some sprinkles, but there is going to be a little bit of weather coming in tomorrow along and east of the divide. You can see that the southern areas, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, even into far southern California, subtropical moisture down there continues to hang out, more moisture, but the interior west, the Pacific Northwest and the Northern Rockies, very little going on. This is the snowfall forecast, more snow up here than in the Rockies this weekend, and you can see that underneath that low, this is pretty impressive. Getting down all the way into lower Michigan, potential snowfall this weekend into the Great Lakes and some pretty darn cold temperatures. And there the cold is. We talked yesterday about how there could be some record cold next week in this part of the country right here. So into the Corn Belt Midwest. hard freezing temperatures are coming. This is all the way out to next Thursday. Now notice, this is where the upper level low is today. By Thursday, it barely moves, so the logjam continues. Now it's starting to move, but it's still there, so we still have an area of high pressure here, and then we can see that gradient forming that signals the change coming next weekend. And there it is. We've been talking about this powerful jet stream across the North Pacific, still showing on up. And when a powerful jet stream like this comes into the lower 48 states, Western Canada, that energetic jet stream wind pattern usually causes the jet stream to buckle and form a trough. So we'll see what happens. We see it on the European model of a trough. This is by next Sunday evening, coming into the Rockies, basically reversing the pattern with high pressure now here and low pressure now in the west. So stay tuned. Certainly we'll have a lot more information for you by next Monday on what next weekend's weather pattern will look like. If the European model is correct, you can see how much cold gets pushed into the western United States by next weekend. So changes are afoot, but they're probably 6-7 days away. Now I wanted to show you a little bit about what has happened if we compare what happened to the beginning to the end of summer and also comparing to where we were with drought conditions a year ago. This is for the last 120 days or the last 4 months. Anywhere you see red or brown, precipitation anomalies have been below the 30-year average. And you can see this large stretch in the central United States, parts of the interior Northwest, the Pacific Northwest, been drier than normal. Then you see these patches of green elsewhere. Notable is this area of green and blue right here, because this area has been under the most severe drought conditions. So we've all been talking about and expecting kind of this due to the continuation of La Nina, but this right here in the southwestern United States has been a real benefit. In fact, there have been pockets of Arizona and New Mexico that have had twice as much rainfall they get in a normal summer over the last 4 months. Now, it's not gotten everybody. There's always winners and losers, but this has been a lot more rain, a lot of it due to that monsoon, due to the fact that we had the right critical sea surface temperatures in the Gulf of California and right here, helping that monsoon get going this summer through the early fall season. That didn't happen in 2020. The monsoon got better in 2021, and it got really good in 2022. So let's hope that trend continues, but it's all going to be tied to the sea surface temperature anomalies there. Now, if we were to compare the drought change in the last year from where we are today to where we were a year ago at the same time, this is actually really good news for most of areas in the interior West. Look at all the green. The green and the darker shades of green indicate where drought conditions have improved. Gray means no change. Yellow and brown means drought conditions have gotten worse. Now you can see along the edges they've gotten worse. Far eastern New Mexico, far eastern Colorado, southeastern Wyoming, western Nebraska. I'll show the other areas to the east in a moment. Also up into the Pacific Northwest here in Washington State. But look at Oregon, eastern Washington, Idaho, Montana, a good chunk of Wyoming, a good chunk of Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico. Drought conditions year to year from today to a year ago actually have been better. They got a long way to go, but they've been better. Out to the east, it's a different story. Boy, look at Nebraska, eastern South Dakota, Kansas, far eastern Colorado, then the southeast part of Wyoming and northeastern Colorado, not benefiting from the monsoon, and the drought conditions gotten worse here. So it's actually gotten better over a larger part of the western United States than compared to other areas, certainly better than we were a year ago. So that's good news, and let's hope we can continue that trend into the next year. Have yourself a good Friday and a good weekend. We'll see you Monday.